Afternoon, everyone. Welcome. All right, just a quick review here that I'm doing, trying to assist you with the City and Guilds final exam and focuses on reading and writing. So our objectives for this particular presentation are four in number. First, it is my hope that you'll be able to identify what are source documents as is used in City and Guilds reading and writing examination. Describe the three sections on the reading and writing City and Guilds question paper. Differentiate among at least 16 concepts relevant to City and Guilds reading and writing examinations. And then finally, just to recognize past paper sample items that are relevant to different concepts that you will be exposed to. So when we think about the sections in the examinations per se, we're thinking about three sections. The comprehension section, which basically has questions that usually are specific to at least two different source documents. Then question from grammar and vocabulary. And these questions, they can be items that are separate from the information given in the source document or related to this particular information. Then finally, the most important section, the writing section. This is where you have ideas from the section that is in the source document, and these can be incorporated accordingly into the relevant written concept that they expect you to relate. So when we talk about the comprehension concepts, we're talking about 8 comprehension concepts across the 3 stages. We're talking about the short responses. These are usually literal level questions, and they are asking you specifically to take the answer from the source documents that they have given. Then you have information from text features, and of course you have dictionary search. Point of note, everyone, when we think about dictionary, for the City and Guilds exam, you can take in a hard copy of the dictionary, not your phone or tablet, something physical, that dictionary that you would have purchased from the bookstore right there in the exam. Then, of course, another concept that you will find intertwined with the comprehension section is something from main points, that's some summary, context clues, part of speech, form completion, and alphabetizing. Let's look at some sample questions. So here we have a few sample questions that I took from 2 past papers across the different stages. The first question here, and is the first question that you'll ever see, is the one that asks of you to tell how would you best describe the document. So you have to know the difference between an article, a website document, and a blog, because they usually ask you these kind of questions. As you go down, you see that questions 2, 3, and 4 are specific to the details that would have been found in document 1 of this particular source document. Another question is a question that really would focus our attention on the 3 main points. So these points, of course, will be coming from the different sections of the source documents that you're given. And so you'd have to reread to pick out the points and then put them back. Over the years, students have not been doing well on the third question. That's an item there, third question over on our right side there, that asks of you to identify the 4 features of layout used in the document. So this is where we're talking about text features. That's what they're asking you about, guys. The text features that you see evident on the document there. Finally, another concept that students usually are very confused about is how they go about giving the dictionary meanings expected. So that we're going to take a look at all of those concepts. To begin, let's understand the whole matter of source documents. So What really are source documents? This is what we call in everyday classroom comprehension extracts. So these are separate documents that you're going to be asked to look at so that you can get information from them to answer the questions that the examiner will ask in your question paper. One source document is the one that you see here to your right that seems to specify information on climate change and you. So notice there you're seeing a very visual piece of information there. A lot of writing with some headings, and then you see some images down there and some other information. We're going to look at that later on. So, in a nutshell, guys, source documents are articles that are based on the central theme that City and Guilds send down on a yearly basis. And over the years, we have been interfaced with some themes from under science, music, technology, media, and for this year, we were focusing on climate change. Point of note, guys, through the question paper, questions are assigned to specific source documents. So as said before, when we talk about the types of source documents, we're thinking about articles, websites, articles, blogs. How do we know them different? Well, when we think about a website article, normally you see up the top clickables where you see link here that basically details for you that you're looking at a website article. And then going down further, if you see for yourself something that indicates what appears to be a footer, where you have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, that further highlights the fact that you're focusing on a website article. How do we know that we are looking at a blog? Well, the blog pretty much has many text features, so we're going to be thinking about the heading and a lot of writing. And notice here you see a picture and some information presented in a very organized way. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about a blog. What about a regular article? Regular article is just like a regular essay. So you have your title, you have your subheadings, and you might have an image. And then, of course, when you look at the presentation of the details, you have an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. So that is pretty much how you know that we're looking at an article. The next question that you might be asked to give an answer to is, what's the purpose of the source document? Now, in order for you to give a definite purpose for a source document, what it means is that you will have to have read that document with focus on why did the writer write this particular piece. And we know that writers write because they want to inform, they want to entertain, they want to persuade, and of course, they want to criticize. Now, for those persons who might take a closer look at this particular document, because remember, you can freeze this video, you'll realize that this document here that you're seeing, that has as its title, Huge Turnout for International Coastal Cleanup Day, was done specifically to persuade readers to be involved in coastal cleanup activities. This source document here, which is a regular article set on global warming and climate change, its purpose basically was to inform readers about the effects of global warming and climate change. The final article that we focus on today, this one which is more of an advertisement, pretty much with the title, Energy Saving Hints and Tips. Once you read through the information, you realize that the purpose for this document, named Document 2, is to inform readers about the energy saving hints and tips. All right. So now we go out into the section that many students have issues with, which is the layout features. Once you hear them asking you what are the features or the layout, then you know that you're basically asked to give information on what you observe as you look at the document on a whole. Are you seeing headings? Are you seeing subheadings? Are you seeing images? Are you seeing pictures? Bold text, different font size, paragraphs, bulletin numberings? What are you seeing there as you look at that document? So here is something more of a labeled version for you. So there you have your title there, climate change and you have your links, the clickabiliation there, you have the bold colors, and of course you have the minor bold colors, which are subheadings, and you have your bullets, and at the end of it you have what is called a footer. Pictures are pictures, and then you have this area here that we normally label as a sidebar. Now, when we think about the purpose of the different text features, if we're zooming in on why do we use fonts? Well, fonts are used in documents to emphasize or reinforce the content of the detail, or just to add style to the information or for presentation appeal. When we think about the heading, this helps us to identify and locate information easier, or it can just be there to separate details in terms of relevance or importance. What's the purpose of bullets and numberings? Listing steps and drawing attention to important details within the document. How do we label? Because this is another concern or another question that you might be asked when we think about the City and Guilds exam. So if we're asked to label a particular image, what it simply is asking you to do is think about giving a little statement that basically describes what is happening in the image. So if you look at the image to the left, you see a number of symbols representing different and various weather conditions. So if we were to label this image on our left, then a decent sentence label would be various weather conditions on Earth, because all of these exist on what appears to be Earth. Now, the images to the right, the above one shows colored soil conditions. That's image 1. Image 2 below, extremely dry land conditions. So just look at the image and pretty much write out a statement that describes that image. Using the dictionary, guys. Once you have your physical dictionary, this activity should be one of the activity that you should get automatic marks for. Because if you're talking about that meaning in context of the extract, as is observed on the left, then all you need to do is go to your dictionary, look for the word ecology, ensure that you go back to paragraph 1 where the word would have been found, and try to find a word that could substitute for the same word ecology without changing the meaning of the information as used in that sentence there. Once you see the area says definition in relation to context, that's the kind of meaning that you're expected to find out. On the flip side, if you are finding the meaning outside of the context of the source documents, then all you're going to do, guys, is to ensure that the word that you find as definition is also, for example, lofty, an adjective. So you want to find another word that is an adjective for lofty. Or another word that means that's a verb that is also a contribute, means contribute. All right. Over the years, especially at stages 1 and sometimes stages 2, you find that students are asked to complete the form. This is usually one of the easiest steps when we think about the reading and writing exam. personal information. It's all about you, and you just put back what you need to put back there. And usually, whatever you're asked to complete on the form is related to the source document details that you would have been given. So there's nothing that you cannot put down there. Especially right here, it says write at least 2 sentences to explain why you would like to win a 3G touchscreen mini tablet. Then obviously the source document will speak to technology. And if you know your knowledge can tell you what a touchscreen tablet is, mini tablet is, and why you would want one. Just write that down. Now, on the matter of putting alphabets in order, words that are put down for you to put in order alphabetically, then it means that you're going to have to focus on the information in the box and then look at the beginning and probably the second letter in order to determine how you're going to arrange those ideas for self. Now, the punctuation and grammar section, or as I would love to say, the vocabulary and grammar section, will see you focusing on spelling, identifying punctuation marks, identifying errors in terms of lettering, whether capitals and common letters, misuse thereof, subject-verb agreement, often confused words, and of course, because the 3850 paper is kind of skewed to our Jamaican setting, sometimes what you see, there's a bit of Creole interference in terms of the often confused words that you're expected to figure out. So this is how a particular activity would look if you're asked to make correction. You're asked to make correction. So here you're asked to circle the errors, and the errors, 2 spelling errors, 2 punctuation errors, 2 grammar errors. The most important section, this is the section that many persons do not love to do, but remember this is the final exam, so let me encourage you to just do your best in this section. Get it done, because this is where most of the marks, you'll prop most of the mark for self, right here. So we're talking about you writing the blog, the article, the letter, and the essay. The hiccup is that you must ensure that you create a plan. You must use clear sentences. You must use paragraphs. You must spell correctly. You must ensure that you use the grammar correctly. And you must use your words in the correct order. And the order of the piece must be chronological and coherent. So here is how you would actually go about doing a plan, guys. So see, we're writing about social media here based on what this section is telling us. And here we have a think about section. Pay attention to that section. Sometimes it might see please include. So you have your points there, different social media sites, the benefits of using social medias, the dangers of using social medias, how you will use social medias. These are the areas that you are going to be asked to ensure that you focus a lot on, right? So ensure that you focus a lot on that particular section.